Torah Life Ministries come out of the world. Messiah people seek the truth.
Hello everybody, it's Paul Neeson with Torah Life Ministries, and we are reading the Torah portion this coming week, the lesson from the first 5 books of the scriptures, what Messiah taught from himself. And that today we are reading number 40. We are up to Numbers 22:2 to 25:9. And this is one of my favorite sections to read, because it's one of the first lessons that I learned when I started looking at the original covenant that so many people ignore today. And we are going to be reading the story of Balaam and Balak, and we're going to see some very important lessons. And we're going to start off, and let's start off actually in Numbers 22:1. So we'll go a little bit before 22:2. In 22:1, we see the Israelites, they're almost about to cross the Jordan River. They've been traveling through the desert. They've been disobeying. They've been bickering and complaining against our wonderful Creator and His messenger Moses. Well, here they are. They're almost across the Jordan River, and this is their second approach to the Promised Land. We saw in the past they sent spies in the Promised Land to spy out the land and see how it was. Well, here we see the story. It says, "And the people of Israel traveled to the plains of Moab and camped at the east of the Jordan River across from Jericho. And then Balak, who was the son of Zippor, the Moabite king, had seen everything the Israelites did to the Amorites. And when the people of Moab saw how many Israelites there were, they were terrified. The king of Moab said to the elders of Midian, 'The mob will devour everything in sight, like an ox devours the grass in the field.'" So now you can imagine these people are terrified because the Israelites are making their way to the Promised Land, and they know that their city is right in the path, and they don't know what to do. They are just terrified. So it says, "So Balak, the king of Moab, sent messages to call Balaam, son of Beor, who was living in the native land of Pethor, near the Euphrates River. And he sent in his message, he sends, 'Look, a vast horde of people have arrived from Egypt. They cover the face of the earth, and they are threatening me. Please come and curse these people for me, because they are too powerful. Then perhaps I'll be able to conquer them and devour them from the land. I know that blessings fall on people you bless, and curses fall on people you curse.'" Now, this fellow Balaam he was considered a prophet by some, but basically he had a reputation in history of blessing and cursing people, and his prophecies came true. And the message was taken to Balaam, and one of the reasons his prophecies came true, it was because he was somewhat righteous. But we see here he revealed his true colors in this week's reading. So it says, Balak's messengers, who were elders of Moab and Midian, set out with money to pay Balaam to place a curse on Israel. They went to Balaam and delivered Balak's message to him. "Stay here overnight," Balaam said. "In the morning I will tell you what our wonderful Creator directs me to say." So the officials in Moab stayed there with Balaam. So they expected Balaam to wake up and say, "All right, give me the money, show me the money, and let's curse Israel, and we're set, everything's great." But that's not what happened. In the morning it says, well, we'll go back to that night. In Numbers 22:9 it says, "That night our Creator came to Balaam and asked him, 'Who are these men visiting you?' And Balaam said, 'Balak, son of Zippor, king of Moab, has sent this message. Look, a vast horde of people arrived from Egypt and cover the face of the earth. Come and curse these people for me. Then perhaps I will be able to stand up against them and drive them from the land.' But our Creator told Balaam, 'Do not go with them. You are not to curse the people, for they I have blessed.'" So now Balaam is going to deliver the message, and the message says, "The next morning Balaam got up and told Balak's officials, 'Go home, that our Creator will not let me go with you.' So the officials went back, and they went back to Balak, and they told him what happened. And Balak, did he just say, "Well, if that's what it is, that's what it is"? No. Again, he sent messengers again. And when they sent the message again, we see Balaam they sent the message again with more money, and we see Balaam's true colors starting to reveal, and he didn't just say, nope, I was told not to go. What does he do? He asked our Creator again, should I go? Are you sure I heard you right the first time? And he's thinking in his mind, this is a lot of money. Let me ask again. Maybe he changed his mind. Our Creator doesn't change his mind. So finally, in rage, our Creator tells Balaam, you know what? Go and watch what happens. So Balaam's going there, and all he has focused on his mind is, I'm getting me some money. Not, well, I was told not to curse these children, which he was told clearly. He's thinking, I'm getting me some money. So he's going there. He takes his donkey that he's had for a long time. And then we see this very well-known Bible story to those of you that actually read the Bible. The donkey just stops. And he's telling his donkey to keep moving. He's got to get his money. And the donkey stops. So he actually gets off the donkey and starts beating the donkey. Well, the reason why the donkey stopped was the donkey actually saw an angel standing in the path that saying not to go. And the donkey actually speaks to Balaam and says, why are you hitting me? Why are you doing this? I am the same donkey you've ridden all your life. Have I ever done anything before like this? And Balaam said, no. It says, then our Creator opened Balaam's eyes, and he saw the angel of our Creator standing in the roadway with a drawn straw in his hand. And Balaam bowed his head and fell on his face on the ground before him. And then he asked Balaam, why did you beat your donkey 3 times? And why are you stubbornly resisting me? And Balaam thinks, well, I didn't see this, and I didn't see what we were saying, so we confessed I have sinned, and I realized you're standing on the road, I will return home as you originally told me to do. But now our Creator says, no, go, and give them this message. And he gives this message from Balaam to give to Balak. And the messaging basically says, that it says in 23 of Numbers, it says, how can I curse those from who our Creator has cursed? I see from the cliff tops, and I watch them from the hills, and see the people that live by themselves, set apart from other nations. Who can count Jacob's descendants numerous among the dust? Who can count even forth of Israel's people? Let me die like the righteous. Let my life end in theirs. So the Spirit of our Creator comes over Balaam, and he gives this message. And again, Balak's not satisfied with this, and a third time tries to convince him, offer him more money, offer him everything else. But our Creator gives this message to Balak, and some of you might say, well, why did he use Balaam? And why did he send Balaam? And Balaam had a message, and this was the message. And the mercy, this shows the mercy of our wonderful Creator, because the first time, the second time, he just said, I'm not going to curse them. But then finally, not only am I not going to curse them, he says, here's a message for you, Balak. And it says, rise up, Balak, and listen. Hear me, son of Zippor. Our Creator is not man, so he does not lie. He is not human. He does not change his mind. And it goes on to say that no curse can touch Jacob. No magic has any power against Israel. For now will be said of Jacob, what wonders our Creator has done for Israel. These people rise up like a lioness, like a majestic lion rousing itself. They refuse to rest until they have feasted on prey, drinking the blood of their slaughter. Then Balak said to Balaam, fine, but if you won't curse them, at least don't bless them. But Balak said, didn't I tell you that it's not up to me, I'm just a messenger? So Balak seems like this righteous person here who's just doing the works and doing what he's supposed to do. But the message continues to Balaam, or Balak, the message continues that he will be destroyed, that it will be over. Balaam's final message, it says here in Numbers 24:15. This is the message Balaam delivered. The message of Balaam, son of Beor, the message of the man whose eyes see clearly, the message of one who hears the word of our Creator and has knowledge from the Most High, who sees a vision from the Almighty. And it basically goes on to say that Moab will be destroyed. But Balaam could not forget the money. Balaam could not forget the riches that were waiting for him. And it says, Moab, in Numbers 25, and we're just going to look at the beginning of this, and we'll later get in the rest of this, but it says, Moab seduces Israel. While the Israelites were camped out in a grove, some of the men defiled themselves by having sexual relations with the Moab women. So some of the men, not all of the men, some of them did, and they defiled themselves by having sexual relations with women that are not set apart. And it says, these women invited them to attend sacrifices to their gods. So the Israelites feasted with them and worshipped the gods of Moab. And that is how they defiled themselves. In this way, Israel joined in the worship of Baal of Peor, causing our Creator's anger to blaze against his people. Now, when it says some of these men defiled themselves, you know how many men it was? It was 24,000. Because it goes on to say here in 25:4 of Numbers that our Creator issued the following command to Moses: seize all the ringleaders and execute them before our wonderful Creator in broad daylight. So we told them to execute them in broad daylight. Now these were only the ringleaders. These weren't even all the people. There were 24,000 that were executed. And that was the ringleaders. That wasn't everyone. We're going to read about Phinehas, because we see here in Numbers 25:6 that one of the Israelite men brought a Mennonite woman into his tent right before the eyes of Moses and all the people. And everyone was weeping at the entrance of the tabernacle. And then Phinehas went in and he killed both of them. So the plague against Israel was stopped, but not before 24,000 people had succumbed to this plague. So we see a very interesting message here. We see somebody who has knowledge and some of the prophecies and some of the spirit of our Creator upon him, supposedly, not cursing the children of Israel directly, but devising a plan so he could still get his money to curse the children, because he knew how the children were going to be cursed. They would be deceived. They were deceived. You know, we are not to mingle the seed. And when the children of Israel started mingling the seed with the Moabite women, that's what happened. They were mingling the seed. We are called to be set apart. Set apart from the non-doers, from the non-believers. Set apart so much so that we look, act, think, and we are set apart. Because when we stop mingling the seeds, we start accepting other cultures and we accept other gods. And we put them on the same level as our wonderful Creator. And that is the beginning to the end. So everybody, if you have any comments or questions of this week's Torah reading, post them below the video. And, if you don't read the Torah, I definitely telling you, you should. You can look at all the other Torah portions on my website, healthwatchman.com. Until then, everybody, have a great Shabbat next week, and shalom, shalom.
Ministries come out of the world. Messiah people seek the truth.